Hey, Giant fans. Welcome to the Giant Insider Podcast. My name is Jerry Foley. I'm the senior editor of the Giant Insider newspaper. And with me, as always, is the beat writer, the heart of Giants Nation. Nobody beats the biz, Chris Bisignano. Guys, before we get started, just want to thank Fitzpatrick's Crest Tavern, located at 9600 Pacific Avenue in Diamond Beach, just between Wildwood Crest and Cape May. They have a huge selection of beers, 21 on tap, 18 widescreen TVs, and the NFL Sunday Ticket. So you can watch your favorite NFL team while scarfing down some of the delicious appetizers on their menu, including oysters straight off the boat and onto your plate, mahi-mahi tacos, and my personal favorite, the Mardi Gras shrimp. So if you find yourself vacationing in the South Jersey Shore, head over to Fitzpatrick's and tell the owner, Sam Fitzpatrick, that the Giant Insider sent you. That's Fitzpatrick's Crest Tavern, located at 9600 Pacific Avenue in Diamond Beach, the best shuck in town. And folks, we have a very special guest today, two-time Super Bowl champion, two-time Lawrence Tynes, a.k.a. LT the Kicker. Lawrence, welcome back. We'd say you're a friend of the show. You're officially a friend of the show. Welcome back, buddy.
I appreciate that, guys. As always, thanks for having me. Lots to talk about.
Yeah, man.
I always love having Lawrence on because he's got like that sarcastic humor like I do, you know. That's what I love about Lawrence, you know. Lawrence, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Well,
yeah, no complaints.
Look, we're doing good, Lawrence. But you know, as Giants fans and former Giant, things could be better, right? Things could be better.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it, Lawrence. You know what? Let's get into the defense first. All right, LT. A lot of publicity about these guys. What's going on? You know, it's the strange part, Lawrence, and you know, obviously, I'll let you jump in. You know, when camp wrapped up, you looked at the season, and they were going with two corners. You know, two rookie corners with Trey and Tay Banks. You figured that, okay, if the defense was struggling after 3-4 weeks, you said, well, you know, the two rookie corners are struggling at times, up and down, which you expect, right? Two kids out there. But I'm talking yesterday with a few people, Lawrence, and one of them was your guy, Paul Schwartz, and we looked at it and go, it's amazing. He goes, Chris, it's amazing. We were talking, they're like third or fourth or fifth down on the list as far as the problems with the defense, you know. Lawrence, let's get into it with the D. Some of the same issues last year, having a problem stopping the run, not getting off the field on third down like they did last year, red zone, and of course the tackling issue. Lawrence, what do you see when you see these guys after 3 weeks?
All those things. I'll agree with you on those rookie corners. I mean, they have not been a story, which is a good thing. But again, I think teams are just doing what the Giants are not very good at, is running the football against them. They're just, for whatever reason, there's a lot of draft capital too and money on that side of the football. When you think of Dexter and Leonard and Kayvon and Azeez, who can't stay healthy, the first round pick at corner, McKinney, Okereke got some money. It's not been good enough, to be honest with you. I kind of question the signing of Okereke in a weird way because, yes, he's a fast linebacker and he made a ton of tackles in Indy, but I kind of did like a deep dive, like a stat dive last night. He comes from a defense that only blitzed 16% of the time in Indy, which was, 29th in the league, like third or fourth lowest. And I think, this is what I think, because I think Bobby Okereke is a really good football player. I think he's just in real time trying to figure it out. I think it's going to take some time. Hopefully it's Monday night, but I don't think he's ever played in a defense that has blitzed this much. And it's one thing to do it in practice. It's one thing to do in the preseason where they don't play a lot. I think as he goes, this team will go, because he has, to be honest with you, he's not been great. Not for the money they gave him.
Not yet.
McFadden, who I think has maybe taken that next step. I mean, that'll do a lot for a young man's confidence, having a game like he did against the Niners.
Mm-hmm.
So I look for him to keep getting better. Obviously, Isaiah Simmons is kind of the what is he? It's a new piece I think Wink's trying to figure out. But, guys, they have to stop the run. Like that is everything. You go into the game saying, let's run the football and let's stop the run and control the line of scrimmage, and they have not done that. So, obviously, the stats are the stats. They've just not been good against the run, and you've got some high-priced players on that side of the ball. They need to fix it.
Yeah, I mean, they brought in Nacho, right? Nunez Roches. They brought in Ashawn, who played his best game last game. He seems to be getting, his legs now. I mean, he was injured all summer and all that stuff. But you know what? like you said, Lawrence, you bring these pieces in, and then you have Leo and Dex coming back. You sign up Kirke, McKinney, a guy they like up in that box a lot. To me, hasn't played at the level he should be playing at. Okay,
Nope.
Enoch's been pretty decent. He's missed some tackles. He's been all right. He's taking some long angles, leverage, all that stuff with him. But here's the bottom line: guys are just getting beat up front, like you said, Lawrence. Guys are getting beat up front, and it has to end because, it's not an accomplishment. I saw something today, well, they gave up 144 last year. They're down to 138 now. I'm looking at it wait a minute. Are we happy with 138? I mean, that can't, that can't continue. And are you kidding me? So until they get that cleaned up, that's what you're going to see, more of the same. I mean, they brought it. Look, Shane brought in these pieces, and right now it's not working for them.
Not at all. And you've got Kenneth Walker and Charbonneau coming in, and these guys run angry. They're kind of clones of like Marshawn Lynch. Pete Carroll's always admired that kind of style of running, and you better bring your hat this week because these guys both run hard. And 138 is terrible. I mean, if you look at whoever the top 10 teams are in the league, they're all under 100. Typically, and I don't know if this is the same in today's football, but if you averaged over 100, 120 yards rushing per game, you're probably a really good offense.
Mm-hmm.
And the Giants are giving up, third or fourth worst in the league at 138. I mean, it's not good enough. I don't understand it. I think it's scheme. I think they live and die by the turnover. They haven't gotten those. They live and die by the sack, putting people behind the chains. They haven't gotten those. And they're 1-2 because of it.
LT, one of the, I don't want to say controversial, but one of the hot subjects on Twitter, unfortunately, is Kayvon Thibodeau's play. Now, there's those that are saying he's kind of doing what he's supposed to do, but what are you seeing with him? I'm just curious what your take is with him.
I see the same thing that the football minds are seeing. I think he's setting the edge pretty well. I think he's thinking a lot. He doesn't look like he's playing fast. And obviously it's his second year in the scheme, so I wouldn't understand why he's having to think so much. But there's pressure obviously coming with where he was drafted. I know he presents himself as someone who is very, very self-confident and stuff, but the league will humble you. And he's going against, some premier left tackles, obviously, and they kind of move him around at times. But I think he's been okay. I'm not as down on him as some people are because the way the games have went, the Giants have not really had any true drop back, pass rushes. It's all this quick game because they know Wink's blitzing. They're getting the ball out quick. They've not had leads where you have a true third down and it's 3rd and 9 or 3rd and 12 and he gets to rush the passer. So I think just the way the games have went, I'm not as down on Kayvon as some people might be because I always think the cream will rise to the top. I think Kayvon's going to be fine. I think he's going to be a good player. I
throw the Dallas game out the window because before you could blink, it was 16-0. And what are you going to do there, right? But it was especially the Cardinal game. That's where the rumbling began. He did get a sack against the 49ers, but like you said, especially Purdy, man, he's getting rid of the ball quickly. So it's going to be interesting to see this.
Well, the Cardinals ran it down their throat.
Right. Yeah.
So again, that changes how you rush. He hasn't been in a true pass rushing situation this season, to be honest with you, because they're playing from behind so much. But again, you've got to stop the run.
Right.
He's got to play both, and that's kind of the worst place in the world to be for a defensive end. And his strength is rushing the passer. I do think he's been strong on setting the edge this year, way better than last year. But sure, you'd like to see those sack numbers go up in those negative plays. But
Lawrence, I think what disturbs people is that you look at Tibbs, right, Lawrence? And the other day I was breaking down all those pass rushes last game, and you look at the way he's attacking, and like you just said, he seems very tentative at times. Okay, he seems like if his first move, which he's not really whipping out the repertoire moves. You watch his moves, Lawrence. He's not violent with the hands. He did more things at Oregon. Okay, forget about that for now. But you look at it, I think that people see the tentative. He looks like he's doubting himself at times, right, Lawrence? Yeah. Like he doesn't have that confidence. And I understand all the quick hit Purdy was doing with the 2.5. He's getting rid of the ball. But still, Lawrence, he's not beating his guy up front. Okay, where you say, okay, he's getting the edge in that tackle, that tight end, and boom, he would have blasted him if he didn't get. He's just not doing that. You know, the one sack he had was a total coverage sack. So I think people look at it and go, okay, and I hate when people do say this. Oh, I don't see the desire. He doesn't have the drive. That's not true. That's not true, Lawrence. Okay.
Yeah.
But he seems to be playing very tentative. To me, he's overthinking a little too much. Okay. That seems to be the issues that I see. When I watched him the other night, it's like, okay, he's like, what do you do? Like, attack. You know what I mean? Lawrence, like, attack. Show that fish. You know, when I say viciousness, we all know for people it means football jogging. Okay.
Yeah.
I saw people on Twitter like, "Oh, violence, Chris. You don't want to use that word. It's football. It's football jogging. Okay, it's football jogging. I don't mean coming out, taking out a 9mm and shoot. It's football jogging. Okay. I like to see a little bit more of that, Lawrence. Tentative. You know. A little bit more of those a little bit more of the repertoire. How about Wink? You know, I put out something today, Lawrence. Tell me if you agree with this. Would you like to see Wink move him around a little bit more? Maybe over that. You saw the way they were using Hutchinson. I don't know if you saw the game last night, Lawrence.
Yeah.
Hutchinson's lined up all over. You know, he's over the A gap, and then you see him on a what? Would you like to see that a little bit more, or just like, hey, he's just got to get better?
Yeah, and I don't know how much that would affect the overall defense and what they've learned.
I'm just talking about Thibodeau, LT.
But I mean, you see it, right? What's his name in Cleveland is doing it. They're putting
Miles. Yeah, sure.
Myles Garrett. They're putting their best pass rushers over their weakest links on the offensive line, and everyone has one, whether it's a center, a guard, a right guard, a left guard, a right tackle. He's moved around a little bit. You know, they drop Kayvon in coverage from time to time too, which I can understand it, but I think the games have dictated how he's played because they've been behind. They really haven't had any leads. And sure, I'd like to see them be more aggressive, but you got to, success breeds confidence, and they just haven't had a lot of success, and I think he's a little hesitant, maybe questioning himself a little bit. He doesn't want to give up the big play, give up the outside. So contain. I think he's a great player. I think he got drafted there because he is a great player, and he's only played, what is it? Let's call it 17, 18 games. Yeah. Did he miss a couple last year?
A couple last year. Yeah.
So he's still filling it out. He's talented. Again, nobody has any more patience in the NFL, especially fans. So I still think it's going to take some time, but you'd like to see him get going on Monday night. He does like the primetime type stuff. So hopefully, you remember that Washington game last year? He can have one of those. Right. It's been a while, though. It's been a while since he's had a game like that.
Yeah, there's plenty of ball left. I like to say that, Lawrence. There's plenty of ball left with this young man. So
I was thinking about it this morning. Like, think about how the different football fans our society is now. Michael Strahan was drafted in '93 and didn't make the Pro Bowl till '97, right? Like, it took him a few years to get going. Like, we're in game, like you said, 17, and it's like, well, why isn't he awesome yet? And right. It's a different time, right? It's just you need instant gratification, and then look, it doesn't help when you see a kid like Jalen Carter come in and look like he's been playing for 10 years already. So, it is what it is. But also, what's got to be affecting him too, Lawrence, is there's no threat on the other side yet. Azeez Ojulari hasn't played, and right. I like Jihad Ward, but there's no pass rushing threat on the other side. So couple that with the way the games have gone, and this is where we are, right? It's not happening yet, but. Like you said, hopefully turns it around Monday night and we can see that. So,
Leonard Williams has not been good either. I mean, he had a solid game against the Niners, but where was he in week 1 and week 2? He is making a lot of money, and he's kind of fallen off a little bit, if you will. Dexter's being Dexter. You look at his grades, he's doing his job. But again, he is not necessarily pressured a lot, and he's obviously the front man, the closest guy to the quarterback, who was generating a lot of pressures last year. They, for whatever reason, have not pressured the quarterback, and I know the ball's coming out quick, but I don't know. I think they're still feeling this thing out, right? They've got some new pieces: Okereke, Simmons, the corners. Are they protecting those guys a little bit in terms of coverage? And so it is early, but again, you can't go 1-3. With the Bills and Dolphins coming up.
Yeah, this season will spiral out of control real quick.
It could.
Lawrence, another guy I like to talk about on the defensive side of the ball is Xavier McKinney.
Yep, next one.
Look, high draft pick, second round, all that. We expect a little bit more. I'm sorry. I expect, you know what, LT, I expect a lot more. And I'm just not seeing it. He's playing okay, don't get me wrong, but I'm just not seeing it, Lawrence. To me, this is a guy that has to start really stepping it up starting Monday night, because he's one of the guys who's so-called impact plays on that side of the ball that's not making an impact. Okay.
Yeah.
Got to get some turnovers, Lawrence. Got to make some big plays. Just not see. What are you seeing from him so far?
The exact same thing. He just has not been as much of a game changer as he was maybe, even that first year, second year when he was flying around. He was always around the football in terms of getting his hands on footballs. And
Right.
We had him on our show, and he possessed like a confidence. This was 2 years ago that I was blown away by. Like not false bravado, but like this kid was like, I want to wear a gold jacket. That's my goal.
Yeah.
And he, and I think me and you maybe talked about this. I think that hand injury did something to him. And I think all athletes at some point in their career have this I'm invincible type of mentality, which is what makes them so great. Nothing can hurt me. I'm never going to get hurt. I'm the best. I'm not afraid of anything. Then he gets that freaky injury in the bye week last year, almost loses his hand, fingers, things like that. I think that takes a part of you with you when something like that happens. And I'm not saying, people are probably like, well, it's not a knee or a head injury, it's a hand. I just think he again, maybe lost a little bit of confidence in himself because of this injury and, letting his teammates down. He lost a little bit of, whatever it is in the locker room that, people are probably like, well, why the hell did you do it? So I think he's trying to find his way back too. He's another one that, has not really taken that next step to greatness, to Pro Bowl football, to all pro football, because he was right there in the mix. If you think about with Joe Judge, I mean, he should have been on the all pro team, Pro Bowl team, second team, something that year. He played that well.
Right.
But again, maybe just finding his way. I think it's going to take, hopefully it shows up Monday. This team is just really off. They're off. We all expected a playoff team to come in and start humming right away, but they just have not shown that. And again, they've been behind early in games, and it's hard to kind of play catch up.
It seems like he's going for the strip a lot too. And I don't know why that is, but it just seems like every time he comes up to tackle someone, he immediately goes for the strip. So Look, he was one of the guys that we said like has to step up this year. And we said it in a way like, no, you have to become elite, like to become an elite safety. He's kind of a cornerstone of this defense. And it's just, again, it hasn't worked out, but it's just, like you said, it's kind of, it's part and parcel to what this team is right now. It's very weird. It's very strange. I didn't see this part. I didn't see that coming with McKinney, but you may be onto something there with the injury from last year, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I just think sometimes you lose a little bit of. I don't care what kind of injury it is. He's not immortal, and it sounds stupid probably to people, but like the people in that locker room are alpha males with the highest confidence level you can have. And I don't know if he lost maybe his status in the locker room in a weird way because he did make a silly mistake. He wasn't there for his teammates and he missed a lot of time. And thankfully he's okay. But things like that can change your mentality. Mm-hmm. And football is a mentality. And I think he'll find it again. He's too talented. But again, it needs to happen sooner than later. I know people keep saying it's early in the year, but that schedule does not get any easier. My God.
Chris, hang on one second.
Yeah,
20 minutes in, guys. We're going to take a break and be right back after this. You're listening to the Giant Insider podcast with LT the Kicker. Hang on one second. And we're back. Folks, you're listening to the Giant Insider podcast with Jerry Foley and Chris. Nobody beats the Biz Ignano with our special guest, Lawrence Tynes, a.k.a. LT the Kicker. Go ahead, Chris.
Lawrence, you tell me how you feel about this. Joe, this offseason, Joe Schoen, he extends Dex. He extends Andrew Thomas. Does not extend Xavier McKinney. He was even asked about it. He says, we'll visit that after the season. Not in an arrogant way, but he said, we'll visit that. This is the way I feel, Lawrence. You tell me how you feel. I think he did it. I think there's a reason why they didn't want to talk contract extension with it. I think they want to see what he's going to do in year 4. Sort of like a show me year, and then we'll talk after the season. How you feel about that? That's the feeling I get from the organization, Lawrence. What are you thinking about that?
Yeah, it seems that way. They're going to make him earn it. And obviously last year was a big red flag, what happened. It was unfortunate what happened, but it happened. So he needs to regain that trust. And listen, that's another element of maybe his play is, well, this team doesn't want me kind of feel, or, there's some personal feelings in this. It always gets personal. And for him, and if you guys follow him on Twitter, he has like some random weird tweets.
I'm just looking for it right now. I was just looking for it.
So again, read through the tea leaves. That's how kids vent nowadays, is on Twitter and on social media in front of the world. And it is what it is. You like it or don't like it. I don't care. But you can read between the lines there that he is not as happy as he has been, right? He wants the extension. He wants comfort. He wants to know that all players want to feel like they're wanted. And quite frankly, I'm sure he feels like he's not wanted because they didn't extend him. And then, he's just trying to earn that trust back from his teammates and the organization in general, because he is, like you said, a Pro Bowl caliber player and a high draft pick. Second round pick is a high draft pick. So we'll see how it shakes out. But you just got to sometimes set those personal feelings aside and go play ball, and they'll take care of you. The Giants will take care of you if you play well.
Well, I think Joe Schoen has shown that already. And you know what? You don't have to be drafted by Joe Schoen either, as he's also has proven, okay? Yep. Giving out mega contracts to guys he didn't draft.
Right.
Go ahead, Jerry.
Yeah. I was just looking for that tweet, but you're right. There was
I remember. It was something.
There's a bunch of them.
There's cryptic tweets. Yeah, and as soon as you saw that, you're like, "Oh, here we go, man!" It just sucks that they take the social media, but that's what they do now.
Like it is what it is today. Yeah, it's the life.
Right? Want to jump over to the offense, right? And a little glass half full here. One of the things, look, the offensive line is still an issue. Obviously, it's far from a finished product, but one of the things we saw last week was how well Ezeudu played coming in for Andrew Thomas and McKethan as well. And now it looks like, correct me if I'm wrong, but McKethan looks like he's going to be a go for right guard Monday night. Some of these younger guys that were drafted are now starting to work out. Do you think that's, the path to success for this O-line and to kind of finally solidify it after, since you played, right? The 10 years of just, influx constantly every year trying to find the right pieces. These young guys, Ezeudu, McKethan, obviously Andrew Thomas is what he is. But do you think that's the path that, we're going to go the rest of this year, or week to week? What do you think? I'm just curious what your thoughts are.
Well, just like everyone else, I am so sick and tired of talking about this offensive line. Like at some point, man for man, look in the mirror and go block your guy. It's not, these guys are all talented. And at some point, you just have to look in the mirror and be honest with yourself. I'm not saying you have to win 10 out of 10 reps. Win 6 out of 10. Win 7 out of 10. They're way under 500, if I had to guess, as a whole. Andrew Thomas coming back is really going to help them. I mean, he is elite. He's about as elite as they get. I did like what McKethan and Ezeudu did. I love what Ezeudu did at left tackle in Arizona. I mean, that was incredible. He's athletic. And I think, obviously Evan Neal has played better since week 1. Not great. Not top 10 pick, but good enough. They've got to figure that out. It is the Achilles heel of this football team. They cannot sustain drives. They don't run the football very well, and they don't pass protect very well. So they just have to look at each other and figure this out, man. It's not – coaches can only do so many things. Coaches can go – you can blame the offensive line coach. It's not his fault. You got to overcome bad coaching if that's what it is. And I don't think it is bad coaching.
Right.
I just think it is guys – the media gets on them. The fans get on them. They lose a little bit of confidence, and they just don't play well. And of course, they're going against good pass rushers, but we don't expect you to win 80% of the reps. Just win 60%, 50% of them. They're just not good enough, and they've got to play better, and they've got to start running the football.
Yeah, it's been the Achilles heel of the franchise, right? Like not just this team, but it's going back, man. Like, oh my, even when he's won it in 2011, like, the offensive line had flaws, but they could function. Like these past 10 years have been brutal And we would hope it would get better by now, but it just still seems to be the issue. Maybe it will, because they look, 2 of the 3 teams were the Niners and the Cowboys. Maybe it will.
There's
get better.
no doubt that's a part of it.
Yeah,
for sure.
But we'll see. Go ahead, Chris.
LT, Evan Neal, is he concerning you a little bit, or is this just way too early to be talking about him?
Maybe just position wise. Maybe he's a guard, and I'm not sure. He is huge. I just don't think he is as athletic enough to play right tackle. He's really good in the run game because he's a massive human being with, decent feet, but he's a mauler in the run game. He does concern me in the pass game. You can tell he concerns the Giants too. They put a lot of tight ends over there to help him, and he struggles with speed. He struggles with movement. He struggles with the TE stunt. But again, there's been a lot of inconsistency to his left. I think that's a big part of it too.
Yep.
I like Evan Neal. Every player has flaws, but I like what he's made of. He owns it. He answers questions. He went to Alabama. You don't go to Alabama if you're afraid of competition, and so I like him. But again, I don't know if he's a long-term right tackle. That would just be my sentiment on him. I do like him as a player, but again, another young player, who missed some games. Missed some time in the preseason, but
Injuries.
I think he's been fine. Bosa didn't destroy the game.
Right.
They had that one play where it was a silly lineup by Bellinger. Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
But Bosa does that to every right tackle in pro football. So, and that wasn't even Evan Neal's fault. But I don't know. I'm kind of lukewarm on him. I do like him, but I'm just maybe he's a better guard. I'm not sure.
I put a tweet out a couple of weeks ago, Lawrence. Somebody asked me about right guard or something for 2024, or asked me about Evan Neal. I said, well, Evan Neal is going to be your 2024 right guard. I feel the same way, Lawrence. I think he might be better suited for that guard position. But
he could be.
We'll see. Look, we all know Andrew Thomas. He had issues his first few years, and all that stuff. So we'll see what happens with Evan, But here's the bottom line too, Lawrence. Right? He's a 7th overall pick. And his place
didn't he miss? He missed some time. Didn't he get hurt in Jacksonville or something?
Yeah, he's had injuries
last year. Yeah.
And look, he's had.
So again, he hasn't even played a full NFL season, if you will.
Right.
And Andrew Thomas was another one. Andrew was playing through a bad wheel his first year, and even his second year, and then he told me that. He told me right at his locker. He was like, Chris, I'm not making excuses, but I did have a bad ankle. And trust me, Lawrence, he was not making excuses. He said, because he out now told me, look, if I'm playing, I got to produce,
Yep.
And Evans had a little bit of those issues too, but still early in the game for that. I was just curious how you feel, because I'm the same way, Lawrence. I'm a little concerned. I'm not quite sure if guard might be his future position,
Could be.
But the offensive line's got to get settled down. They have to get settled down. And looks like Dave's is going to stick with McKethan, which I was shocked the other day. He told us that. Usually Dave's never gives personnel alignments. And he actually said, now I'm going to stick with McKethan at right guard, which is, I actually looked at Dave LT and like, is he feeling all right? Did he actually say, I couldn't believe what he said.
Well, who's going to play left? Who's going to play left guard?
Well, Ben is back. Brenison's back. He's out of concussion protocol.
You got him, Glowinski. You got. So
it's going to be Glowinski's out. It's going to be Andrew. Looks like he'll be back. It'll be Andrew, Bren. John Schmitz at center, McKethan at right guard, and Evan at right tackle. That's what it looks like.
It's funny. We've been on the show however long we've been talking, and the rookie corners are fine, and the rookie centers are fine.
Amazing. Yeah. And the other thing that's ironic, LT, is like Daniel Jones is the least. He's like the least issue with the offense, right? Like he's my least worry. I just want him to have time, and I think he can. He showed last year what he can do with a subpar receiving core. I'm kind of surprised by that. Like he's the least thing I worry about, and you just hope that he can get the time behind this line. And you brought up a name before, Lemieux, and we said it last week. Like you saw him in pass protection, and that's why he's not a viable option at guard. He gets absolutely blown up at guard.
Yeah, he's struggled. He hasn't played in a long time, and they put him up against the Niners. I was like, holy cow, how did this happen? But I never in a million years thought that the Giants thought they could win that game. I think maybe they almost used it as as a preseason. I'm not saying they weren't playing to win, but
Sure.
I feel like they were just trying to feel some things out, get some personnel out there, get out of there healthy. But then, they have to run the football.
Right.
And I don't care if Saquon's in there, if it's Brightwell, is it Breida, is it Gray? You've got to run the ball. Like, you cannot go in shotgun 90% of the time.
Yep.
And I'd like to see Daniel get under center more and run the ball. He's really good play action thrower, which most quarterbacks are. But again, you have to run the football in order for that to happen. And they just have not ran the ball well enough. And you don't have to average 5 yards carry, but what they have less than 10 runs against the Niners or something like that. I mean, that's inexplicable. Like, I get it. They're a great front, but man, keep pounding it. They ran it in from like the 6 or 7 yard line in the red zone against that defense with Breida.
Even when it was 16-0 against the Cowboys, your first drive, you ran down the field. That's not the time to just abandon the run. And I felt like they did.
Especially when it's pouring rain.
Right. Yes.
So, we've talked about personnel, but we got to start maybe talking about some of the coaching that's going on and the game plans. And listen, I love Brian Daboll just like everyone else does, and he was coach of the year, but he's not immune from criticism here because they just have not put this team in the best situation, offensively or defensively. And so they're bright guys; they'll figure it out, but they better get going because they have an upgraded roster.
Mm-hmm.
So it should be better. And they have played two great teams, and they're a 2-point conversion away from that game being really close in San Francisco with a depleted roster. But they just got to get going. They just got to start producing on the field.
Lawrence, this game Monday night is, to me, a must-win. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
After Monday, you got to go to a Miami team and just put 70 up, literally 70 up.
And the ball comes out in less than 2 seconds.
Yeah.
So your blitz, you can blitz all you want.
Yeah.
That's not going to help.
And look, Wink Mondell is a guy that loves his system, Lawrence. He likes to do he's going to do his thing. And how much he changes, I don't know.
I hate it.
Okay. Because,
you hate it?
I hate it.
Well, Lawrence, I'm going to ask you.
System.
I'm going to just finish my point. I'm going to get into you, Lawrence, of why you hate it, because I find that interesting. Because, look, Wink is a guy that comes in, he's aggressive and all that, but you got to, in this league, Lawrence, I have to tell you, you got to change up to your personnel too, man. And he has his one system, basically, which got him run out of Baltimore. Okay. Yeah. Because Harbaugh was sick and tired of that one system. When you're down 3 corners and you're still playing that one system, and you're watching guys like Joe Burrow throw for 400 yards and a half, and Harbaugh got, now.
If you're going to be that aggressive, you have to have results.
Right.
Turnovers, sacks, things like that. You cannot keep applying that kind of pressure and not getting results out of it. I'm old school. I'd love to see. I think they have 4-3 personnel. Mm-hmm. I think you go Leonard and Dexter in the middle, Aziz when healthy, and Kayvon, and you just roll out Simmons, Okereke, and McFadden. Mm-hmm. I really do. And you've got enough good corners and safety guys to just hold that coverage for another half second. That's the difference between a sack and a completion, right? They're just not getting there, and they're exposing lanes or exposing the seam. The quick game is killing them.
Yep.
They were playing off. You remember early in that game, Deontay was playing off of Debo 6-7 yards. It's like, that's the easiest completion in football.
Yeah.
If you're going to play blitz, you got to man. You got to go man more and get in their face and disrupt timing of routes. And they're blitzing, but yet playing off. I don't like the system.
Well, especially when one of the attributes why you drafted him was he's a bump and run corner. Right? Like, what are we doing? Right? Like, I don't know, but Chris always talks about the good Wink and the bad Wink.
We've seen that. Look, he has a resume. There's a good Wink and a bad Wink. There's no question.
They do.
About
They've traditionally given up a lot of running yards. And last year, what they did well is they really buckled down in the red zone. I think they had a top 2 or 3 red zone defense, maybe.
Yeah.
They were top 10 last year, Lawrence.
Yeah. So they're always going to give up yardage, but they really buckled down and made teams kick field goals down there. But
not this year yet.
Yeah. And you got to keep going back. They've played 2 really good teams, and people, for the most part, have said Arizona sucks. Well, Arizona does not suck, guys.
No, they
Everyone's
don't.
buried them. They're
Yeah.
playing hard. That coach has got them playing really good football. They run it
Yeah.
well. They've got some good skill guys, a good tight end. They're okay on defense. I mean, we caught them without Buda Baker, who's one of the elite safeties in the game, and we're able to put together a really good half. But that team has been in every single ball game, and they just beat the Cowboys.
Yeah, and they should have beat us, Lawrence. You know, I mean, let's face
Sure.
it. You know, they should have beat us too. You know, and then win that game, they could easily be 3-0. So
Absolutely.
they're playing. That John Gannon, he has them playing, brother. You know?
Yeah.
So you look ahead to. I'm sorry, Jerry. You want to get, brother?
Yeah,
Jump
no,
in.
just one more thing on the defense, guys. I'm a little surprised. Like, Wink clearly wanted Isaiah Simmons here, and he's talked about wanting to draft him when he was with Baltimore. I'm a little surprised he has been more involved. I know it's a new team, but I just figured he would almost force him into the game more. I'm a little surprised by that. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah. He's been here, about a month, probably, maybe a little longer. Yeah, he's going to. Maybe it takes some time. I mean, this is a foreign system. No one else in the league runs it.
No, I just the way he really wanted him in Baltimore, and that's all. Just a little surprised by that.
Just to jump in there, I put it out. I was talking to Isaiah and Jerry. You saw when I put this out, Lawrence. You maybe you read the tweet. Like Isaiah told me, locker. I mean, I was talking about maybe playing a bigger role against the 49ers, and he was like, "I hope so," because I said, "Do you have this playbook? Is it down?" He's like, "I have 100% knowledge of this playbook now.
Okay,
100%." So it's whatever Wink's doing package wise and all that stuff. We'll see how that progresses. But you like to see Isaiah get on the field. Look, does he have his flaws, Lawrence? Yeah, he does. He does, but he makes plays too, Lawrence. He's fast.
Yeah, to be that big and fast,
he's fast,
athletic. I mean, the guy like that has to be on the field,
right?
Like I said, which is why I would prefer a 4-3, but
that isn't happening. You know that. All right, let's get back to the offense, Lawrence. Daniel Jones, look, no shot against Dallas. He had no chance. He's not getting much time for the ball. I know a lot of people want to look at him. I see other players, other teams, which I can't believe, to be honest with you, Lawrence. You guys taking shots at him, 49ers saying this and that. What are you seeing in him so far? And to me, look, he had the one half. He got some time, and look what he did. Right, Lawrence? Look what he did.
Yeah, that's who he is. I truly believe that's who he is. That's who he was in the playoff game against the Vikings on the road. But it's just for fans and for people like us, it's just not consistent enough on a week-to-week basis. But again, the offensive line is never consistent. It's never the same lineup. It's the same old stories we've been talking about. This team just needs to find consistency in all three phases, which they have not done. And I don't know what the magic answer is to fix it. Daniel Jones is Daniel Jones. I know who he is. I don't think he's bad. I don't think he's elite, but he's a very good quarterback and he has some skills. And they just have not featured that. Again, the games have dictated how he's played. The offensive line, the opponents know they struggle there, and they take advantage of teams' weaknesses. That's all teams are trying to do every Sunday is take advantage of your weaknesses. And all the teams they've played this year have done that to a T, and made him throw, quickly. That's not their game. They want to play action. But again, this all predicates on running the football. They don't do it well enough. They have not ran the ball well enough. And I know Saquon's the best running back we have. You can still run it with Breida, Brightwell, and Gray. I really believe that. They just abandoned it too soon.
Well, yeah, Lawrence, you feel Kafka's abandoned it way too soon, right?
Well,
like we all do. You feel
he's more Dable, whoever's calling plays.
and that's the scary part.
You got
of
a
that.
point, Lawrence.
I was gonna say that's the scary part of the Andy Reid coaching tree a little, right? Like Andy Reid would abandon the run when he had a running game in Philly, and
always he still does it to this day. I mean, I live in Kansas City. They abandon the run too much, and I think between Pacheco and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, they've got two really good backs, but again, they get enamored by the passing game, and that was kind of Buffalo does that still. Buffalo's never had an elite running back. If you think about it, they've had backs, but I did like what they were doing more of with the swing passes with Brightwell and in that game. I do like that part of the game because they are going to get pressure, and if you can kind of widen that defense out a little bit, it'll help you. So I'd like to see that more. I don't think Saquon's great in the pass game. I think he's okay, but that's an element of the game they need to add more of. Always have that little check down because it's there. It was there a lot against the Niners.
Chris, real quick, guys, we're going to take one more break. It's 40 minutes in already. Love having LT the kicker with us, guys. Hang on 1 second. You're listening to the Giant Insider Podcast. And we're back, folks. Listen to the Giant Insider Podcast with Jerry Foley and Chris. Nobody Beats the Biz Ignano with our special guest, Lawrence Tynes. Real quick, Chris, I remember a couple of years ago when the Giants played the Chiefs Monday Night Football, you said that Joe Judge was telling defensive coordinator, guys, relax. He cannot stick to the run all game. I remember you said that. Yeah. And that, it's kind of seeing itself out now, but go ahead, bud.
Lawrence, speaking of running backs, your opinion, we all know what happened this offseason. Position is very devalued. How do you feel about the running back? Do you feel that they should be paid more and how important they are to an offense? We all know what happened this offseason. We all know what happened with Saquon. Okay. We all know what happened. Guys like Dalvin Cooks, who, by the way, looks like he shouldn't have got a big contract. Okay. How do you feel about what's going on with that running back position? And do you feel they are getting kind of shafted in a way they should be getting paid more?
I mean, if you have to look at it from a business perspective, and owners run a business and they're replaceable to some extent. If you look at what the Seahawks did last year with Kenneth Walker, drafted him in the 3rd round, the young man down in Houston in the 4th round, Pacheco in the 7th round, the Chiefs. You just see that runners are runners, right? And it's hard to keep paying them when they get hit on every play, whether they're pass protecting or running the football or, going out into the flats. I mean, it's hard to stay healthy for a long time. So, yes, I selfishly love seeing players get paid. But if I'm running a business, I'm not paying running backs premium dollars. I'm just not going to do it. Now, McCaffrey is an outlier because everyone wants to compare themselves to McCaffrey, but they're not McCaffrey. McCaffrey can line up anywhere on the field. Slot receiver, outside receiver, running back. He'll run the Wildcat. I mean, McCaffrey's in a league of his own. There's not another runner like him. I mean, Austin Eckler, same thing in LA.
Yeah.
You give them good contracts, but they're never going to get great contracts.
So you feel those days are long gone? How long?
I just think that's the way the game's going. I really do.
Yeah.
Look, it's already there.
A prime example, Lawrence. You look what's going up in Orchard Park. They move on from Singletary. They drafted Dalvin's brother James. Look how well he's playing. Look what he's doing for them now.
Fantastic.
3rd round pick. Well, I think he was a 3rd round pick.
Young, healthy. You look at Montgomery last night for Detroit.
Yeah.
He's got some miles on the tires, but again, they didn't pay him big money.
Yeah.
Miles Sanders, great running back. They didn't pay him big money to go to Carolina. The list goes on and on and on. Alvin Kamara is probably the closest back, if you will, to Christian McCaffrey, in my opinion, in terms of what he can do in the passing game and the run game. And I think those are the 2 highest paid guys. So, I just think it is what it is.
Lawrence, Jerry, 1 second. On that note, Lawrence, do you think this could be Saquon's last year as a Giant?
Oh, yeah, I do. Unless he takes a, middle of the pack deal. Mm-hmm. Sure. We'll see how his health plays out the rest of the season. But, I absolutely could see this being his last year.
That's why I love Lawrence, Jerry, man. He's
honest, man. He's honest, dropping bombs, baby. Good stuff, man. Love it.
Look, it's it's just it's an honesty.
It's not like groundbreaking news. I mean, I think everyone.
No, I know. But some, but you're being extremely honest.
Say that. I love him. I love the kid. I love what he brings.
Lawrence, I said the same thing.
We all want it to work out.
We talk about it all the time, Lawrence. I feel the same way. I'm not saying definite. They got the tag again, which I don't think that's going to happen. No. But this could be. And now Saquon, look, I love Saquon, but he got hurt again. He's going to miss a few games. He's probably not going to play Monday night. And like you said, with this running back position, you could replace. Like, I'm not saying you could replace Saquon's talent, but you could replace the position and be very effective.
Yeah, his value is in the locker room or within that team because people love him. He's a great kid. He's a great leader.
Love him. Yeah,
and there's value in that, and I totally agree with that. But is it $10-12 million a year? No. So if he comes back, I think they'd love to have him back, but it's got to be at the right price.
Do you like what Joe Schoen did as far as, hey, look, I'm looking out for this organization, and I'm going to go to a certain number, And that's it. Do you like the way Joe Shane approached the offseason with Saquon?
Yeah, because there's a lot of outside pressure, right, from the fans and the
there was.
media,
Yep.
and he didn't blink, and so you can respect that about Joe Shane. As much as he probably wanted to open the checkbook and pay Saquon, he did what was right for the New York Football Giants, and I think he did the right thing.
One of the guys that another player I should say that Giant fans are excited about on this offense really show what he can do against the Cardinals, Jalen Hyatt, right? Do you think he'll get more and more playing time as the season goes on, or do you think you should get more now based on what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, there may be some truth to that thing about the route tree, right? Because he only runs a couple different routes. He's not out there all the time, but I think he's just a young player trying to figure it out. I think that kid's going to be dynamic. You'd love for him to get more shots, but again, they have to run the football.
Yeah.
They have to run the football. Like there's no secret sauce here.
Yeah.
They got to be able to run the football to open up some of these passing lanes. Otherwise, you're wasting a top tier talent in terms of speed and spreading the field like Jalen Hyatt, because he was a non-factor, obviously, in San Fran.
Yeah,
like I said, I was almost happier with his second reception against the Cardinals, where he came back and extended and made that catch. And the bomb was great, but that you're as a fan or try to be a student of the game, you're almost happier with him running that route and making that reception, because they're going to need that more.
Yeah, contested catches.
Yep.
And he's a young player. What's he in his fourth game?
Yeah.
He's going to keep getting better, and they'll keep putting him out there, but run the ball.
And Jerry and Lawrence, when did he make those 2 catches? Second half.
Yeah.
Daniel with a little time, right?
Yeah.
Boom. And look, Daniel's got to get time. Obviously, last week was get it out of his hand. Get it out of his hand. You saw Paris Campbell leading the team in receptions. Wandell was involved early, right?
Yeah.
Couldn't really sit back there. Couldn't really sit back there and run those 9 routes or all those 7, those deep 7s. They weren't going to have the time, man. And that's obviously that was the way Dable and Cavill were going to approach it. We'll see what they do Monday night. So, hey, let's look ahead a little bit, Jerry. Lawrence, Monday night. Obviously, we just talked about it. It's a must-win game, in my opinion, absolute must-win, or the season will spiral out of control. I put it on Twitter last week after the loss. I said, okay, the season starts Monday night now against Seattle. Okay, got to get this win. Lawrence, how do you see this game going?
It's kind of a team on their playing field, if you will. They're not outstanding on defense. Their offense scares me. DK Metcalf, Lockett, and Jigba, Walker, and Geno Smith, guys, very, very, very good quarterback. Like I have a lot of respect for what he did. Most people's careers that start like his don't ever end up like where he's at now.
No.
And I have a great deal of admiration and respect for Geno Smith, because he looks incredible. Like he comfortable, throws a beautiful football. Man, accurate. He throws a great ball.
Yep.
And so happy for him after being in New York, and things didn't play out well. So I picked the Giants to win 31-27. I think it's going to be some points scored in this game on both sides of the ball. But this has to be the coming out party for the New York Giants. They just have to get going at home. Again, another thing that's hurt the Giants is, 3 out of their 4 games have been on national TV.
Oh.
Everyone's seen them for the good and the bad.
Yeah.
No one got to see that second half of the Arizona Cardinals game. So here they go again. We're going to get the graphic with Daniel Jones's primetime record that's 0-11 or whatever the number is. And
1-10 or something.
I hate that record. I hate quarterback win-loss record. I think it's the dumbest stat in football. Yeah. It just grabs attention for the broadcast to show that. Same with Kirk Cousins and other guys. The reality is Jones has just not been on good football teams when they play on these games. That's just the facts.
Yeah.
So I think they got to win this game at home in front of a national audience. Hopefully it's their coming out party. I think everything kind of gels this week. They've had a long layoff, which I think is a good thing for them to reassess what they're doing offensively, defensively, and kind of get back to the basics. Run the football, play action pass, and make tackles and create some turnovers.
Well, you look at these stats, what Seattle's doing right now, the first 3 games launched, there's no better time to get it going than Monday night. Now look, Pete Carroll's defenses always get better as the season moves along. Okay. Yep.
But you look at them, and they're rated 32nd, 31st, except against the run. But everything else, third down,
Yeah.
red zone, pass.
It's okay. That's okay. We don't run the ball anyway. So
Yeah, no kidding.
But like, you know what? I get that because teams have been winging it all over a lot against Seattle too. So you got to watch those stats too.
Which is
you know?
interesting too, right? With Woolen and the Witherspoon kid, the first round pick, and then they've got Jamal Adams coming back, Julian's back there.
Yeah, well, Woolen's been banged up. Bryant the other corner, and then Witherspoon's been playing pretty decent. He missed the first game. He's been playing. Now they get Jamal back this week. But you know what, Lawrence? Pete always figures it out over there, man. Give him a quarter of the season.
He's a great coach.
You see them getting better and better. You hope not this Monday night, but this is the opportunity, Lawrence. Like you said, this is the opportunity against these.
Their
guys.
Offense is scary. I mean, they went to Detroit and put up 37 points on that.
Their offense is real good.
Really good.
I was talking to Bobby Okereke yesterday, away from the just me and him, Lawrence, talking about Kenneth Walker. Curious was getting, and he goes, Bob Okereke was like, I'm so impressed with his vision. He goes, he has unbelievable vision. This guy, he goes, talking to him, he goes, listen, he goes, dude, he goes, I've played against plenty of real good backs, but that doesn't mean they have real good vision too. They have pretty good vision, but some guys have special. He goes, this kid is patient. He's got
home run speed too,
and he's a home run hitter, which makes him.
If he gets out in the open field, he's a problem.
Which makes him even more dangerous, And that backup, that kid from UCLA, Charbonneau.
He's a
pretty
problem
damn
too.
good player too.
Yeah.
If you think about last year's game, we went up there and competed pretty well, and then we had obviously Richie James had the 2 punt fumbles.
Yeah.
So that hurt them.
That was a confident Giants team at that time, no Lawrence. Right now, I just don't feel that, but we'll see. We'll see. Man.
Well, they've got to play better to earn the confidence. You got to earn the right to have confidence, and they have it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was going to say, LT, do you want to do picks with us this week? Do you want to do our pick segment? And we can wager.
Yeah.
I mean, if you guys win, I can drive you around on a golf course or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But
yeah.
All right, cool. All right. So you have the Giants beating Seattle. All right, Chris, we'll finish up with that one. Falcons, Jags. Who do you guys like?
Jaguars for me. Jaguars for me.
I'll take the Jags.
I agree.
I think they
in their home stadium, London.
They'll bounce back from a bad game.
Cool. 1:00. Rams at Colts. I'll go first. I'll go with the Rams on the road on this one.
No, I'm going to stick with Stain Stetch. I'm going to go Shane Stetch. I'm going to go with the Colts again.
Yeah, I'll take the Colts. I think they're a sleeper.
I'm going to have to keep track of this one. All right. Ravens at Browns, 1:00. I will go. I just don't love this Ravens team. I'm going to go Browns at home.
I'll tell you what. You better not be sleeping on these Browns. And I'll tell you why. Jim Schwartz has got them playing defense. To me, I looked at this Brown team and said, well, is Deshaun going to be that Deshaun from Houston? Well, last week he kind of flashed that a little bit. If Deshaun Watson gives them quality quarterback play, this team could win the division. I'm telling you right now. Lawrence, I know how you feel about it. They're real talented. Deshaun Watson, to me, was the key. I like the way he looked last week. I'm going with the Browns again, Jerry. They've demolished 2 teams at home. I'm going to go with them again.
Yeah, they give up 160 yards of offense a game. We do that just on the ground. Think about that. 160, and they've given up 2 touchdowns on defense. 2.
Yeah. It's insane.
The Browns are really good. They're really good.
Lawrence, I've said this a million times. No other major sport is affected by coaching as much as the NFL is.
100%. Dalvin Tomlinson is on that D line.
Yeah, Dalvin's up there. Yeah.
That is a Myles Garrett. My God. They're good. They got corners, they got backers, they got D-line, secondary. They're elite.
So I guess you're going Browns then.
I'm going Browns.
Yeah. Grant Delpit is playing like the LSU Grant Delpit, the safety position right now.
Yep.
And you know what? Like I was just saying about
the corner they got, Ward. Is that
Denzel's playing at
Denzel's
playing at a Pro Bowl level. Okay.
They're really good.
And Jimmy Schwartz is this is what I mean. I say about the damn coaching in this league. Look what Jim Schwartz is doing with them.
It's all coaching.
All right, guys. Still 1:00. Vikings at Panthers. I will go Vikings on the road to finally get off the schneid.
Yeah, I like the Vikes too, Jerry.
Yep, that's an easy one for me. Young team. I don't know if Bryce Young will come back and play, but Kirk Cousins is playing pretty well, so I'll take the Vikings.
Bengals at Titans still 1 o'clock is a tough one. I'm gonna use Chris's line. I'm gonna go with coaching. Titans at home.
Whoa, what do you mean? You don't like Zach Taylor?
No, but I know you like the Titans coach, so I'm gonna go there.
Oh no, I like Vrabel, but I'm going to go with I'm going to go with the Titans because I just don't like Joe Burrow's leg. I just don't like the way he's moving in Tennessee. The Rams gave them a hell of a battle. You know what? I'll go with the Titans to respond because they got waxed last week, and I'll go with them. The rebound.
I think they found something last week with Jamar Chase and Burrow. They got some things going, figured out. I'll go Bengals on the road.
All right. I'll post these next week to see who comes out on top. Still 1. Buccaneers at Saints. I think win was taken out of Buccaneers sales Monday night. I'm going to go Saints at home. I like the Saints defense.
Yeah, but they're going to go with Jameis Winston.
That's true. But
you know what? I'll stick with the home team and a better defense. I'll stick with the Saints, but wouldn't surprise you if Tampa went down there and knocked them off.
Yeah, I'll go Bucks here. I like what they're doing. The Eagles are on another level, obviously.
Yeah.
Those running lanes, we all could have had 150 yards rushing.
Ridiculous.
It's incredible.
Offensive line, defensive line,
it's like they lift different weights.
Oh,
like they have a different weight room or something because the way they move NFL defensive linemen is spectacular. Like, obviously, I played the game for a long time. Like, I've never seen they physically dominate you up front. It's unreal to watch.
And Kelsey's backup. There's no drop off.
You ever seen Kelsey pull? I mean, a center pull like that. It's incredible.
He's one of the best I've ever seen do it.
So that gives them so many options in the run game. So many.
The only thing I'll say is Lane Johnson moving early is akin to like Michael Irvin's push off. Like they just accept it now. It's just he moves early and they don't call it. And look, I know I'm being a bitch about it, but come on, call it once, man. My God.
Yep.
Sorry. 1 o'clock still.
Go
ahead, Chris.
No, I was just going to say Jason Kelsey looks like he's just never going to get old.
He's unbelievable.
Great athlete. Dolphins at Bills. This is a good game, man. I
tell you what, I like what the Bills have done the last 2 weeks. Why is that? First of all, they decided, you know what? We got to run the ball to win games, to your point, Lawrence, about the Giants. Okay. They're running James Cook. I like what they're doing. And they got Diggs. We all know that. They got to establish a number 2. Gabe Davis is a guy who hasn't really progressed into they thought that number 2, but they've gotten him involved. I only had the 1 catch, but he did have the long touchdown last week. Yeah. I like the way Buffalo's defense is playing. I know Miami put up 70, and people are going to be going, "Oh, what are you?" You know what? I'll still go with Buffalo at home.
No, I am too because of the 70. That's it. They're going to come down this week. I'm going to go Bills at home.
Yeah, I'm going to go Dolphins here. I think this is an elite football team, probably my favorite to win the AFC. The way they're protecting Tua. They almost went in there last year and beat them with Skylar Thompson.
Yeah,
you're right.
And this is a much better team, so I'll take the Dolphins.
Are you sold on their defense, Lawrence? Yet, Miami's defense. Are you sold on their defense?
Yeah, wait till December when they get Jalen Ramsey back. I mean, come on, like they're just going to outscore you. They've got some pieces on defense. That safety, who Baldy did a breakdown.
Holland's excellent. He's an excellent.
And they've got Xavier Howard, and then Jalen Ramsey comes back. Come on.
Horrible game at 1. Broncos at Bears.
Oh boy.
I'm going to just go Bears at home. I'm flipping a coin here. They got to win sooner or later. I know they're a disaster, but so are the Broncos. Who the hell knows? Bears at home.
I'm just going to go with the Sean Payton after humiliating loss factor and go, I don't know. I'm going to go with them.
I'm going to pick the best quarterback. I'll take Russell Wilson. I think Justin Fields is a train wreck right now.
He really is, man. Didn't see this coming.
Oh, bad.
Still 1 o'clock. 2 more ones. Commanders at Eagles. Obviously, pulling for Commanders. Got to go with the Eagles at home. They are just on a different level right now. It sucks.
And I don't even think they're even hitting all cylinders yet, too, man.
No, they're not.
They started showing it in the second half, but I'll go. Even though Washington went into Philly last year and upset them, I'm going to go with the Eagles Sunday.
Yeah, I'll take the Eagles too. I think the Washington D line does present more problems than Tampa's D line, but I like that Washington D line. Chase Young's back too, so I'll take the Eagles.
Last of the ones, Steelers at Texans. Texans are a fun team to watch, but I'm going to go Steelers on the road. I
Yeah,
have
I'll go with Mike Tomlin and the Steelers too.
Man, how good a coach is he? I'll take the Steelers too. I do love CJ Stroud though,
Phenomenal.
as a young player playing like he is. That's an up and coming team with D'Amico Ryans, but
yeah,
TJ Watt, 3 sacks. I mean, he's an animal.
You said it about Tomlin, man. How much would you like to play for a guy like that too? Like
Would
he's
love it.
just oh,
I'll
man.
go watch his press conferences every Sunday just because I like hearing him talk.
Yeah.
I tell
4
you
o'clock.
what, I tell you what, I
Good.
love that Tank Dell down here too, Lawrence. I love
Yeah.
Tank Dell.
They're-
Yep.
Yeah, they got
They're
some
good.
talent. I tell you what, give D'Amico a few years down there, boy.
Yeah, they're going to be great.
3, 4 o'clocks. First of them, Raiders at Chargers.
Brandon Staley. Oh my God, they probably wouldn't have allowed him on the plane if the Vikings would have scored that last drive after going for it
God.
24.
Yeah,
That being said, I think the Raiders are a mess too. Garoppolo's even playing. I know he's in concussion protocol. I'll go with the Chargers.
By the way, dude, talk about coaches too, Chris. Down 8 and you kick the field goal with 2. Well, we need 2 scores. Well, you score the second one in overtime then. It's not going to get there. Wow. Chargers too, but oh man, what a disaster McDaniel.
yeah, yeah. Give me again. I'm just taking the quarterback here. I'll take
Yeah.
the Chargers.
Cardinals at Niners. Cardinals were a nice story last week. Niners are one of the top in the NFC. I'll go Niners.
Yeah, Niners.
I'll tell you what the Cardinals won't do though. They're not going to abandon the run.
That's right.
They're going to run it. They're going to try and run it.
What are you
Josh
saying?
Dobbs.
I
Josh
see. I
Dobbs.
tell you, Jerry. I'm picking this up. You could tell Lawrence's pet peeve with the offense.
What are you saying,
Run the
Lawrence?
damn
You
ball.
got to run the ball. I mean, with Connor and our old buddy Will Hernandez is on that line. I mean, they're not great, but
Right.
they run it and they stick to it and they're committed to it. Obviously, the Niners will win this game, but another guy I'm really respectful of is that what Josh Dobbs has been able to do and being there a
Yeah.
month.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I tell you, he's.
You
looked
think the
good.
Jets would like to have Josh Dobbs?
Oh yeah, yeah. I tell you what, Lawrence. There's probably about 4 or 5 teams that like to have Josh Dobbs right now.
In defense of Zach Wilson, I will say this. I've watched some shows this week. He has less time than Daniel Jones, or maybe the same.
Well, that was going to
offensive
be
line.
that
That
was
offensive
gonna-
line is not good.
that
I
was
don't
going to
think
be
Aaron
the problem
Rodgers-
with the Jets. Yeah.
They wouldn't be 3-0 with Aaron Rodgers. Not
Yeah.
with that offensive line. No way.
Yeah. That was the thing everyone was worried about, that offensive line. Yep.
Because New England's not very good.
That's why I told everybody before the season, like, calm down on Aaron Rodgers because you got it. Their offensive line is the
You gotta
biggest
protect him.
question mark. They were the biggest question mark. And like
All
you
right.
said, Zach has some issues, but he's also getting blasted. He
No,
also has
0
a little
time.
much
He's like him and Daniel Jones like 31st and 32nd in
Yep.
terms of time.
Yep.
Speaking of the Pats, you mentioned them. Pats at Cowboys 425. No Cowboys at home to rebound this week, unfortunately.
I'm with you. Yep.
I'm actually going to take the Patriots here.
Nice.
Look at
I
you.
do like
Lawrence.
I like Bill Belichick against Dak Prescott. I am not a big fan of his. I think he Belichick will make him make some mistakes on defense, and I think that's where they'll win.
Like it, Lawrence. Lawrence got the Pats going in there and upsetting the boys.
Old Bill, I like Hoodie.
Love it.
You
Love
can't
it.
go wrong with Bill. That
No.
you can't.
And Sunday night, Taylor Swift against the Jets. Who do you like, Lawrence?
Well, that's easy. I'll take Taylor Swift.
Yeah, same.
Easy all day. And I apologize to all Jets fans that have to pay 40% extra because she's going to be there, which is nuts. But the Chiefs are the Chiefs. I mean, Mahomes, Kelsey, that defense, people are sleeping on Spags and Dave Merritt, our former Giants guys.
I love the defense.
That defense is good.
That
really
defense is real good.
Yeah.
Real
Yeah.
good. I mean, we all know about Spags, but guys, I've been saying this for 2 years. That defense is stacked.
They're really good. Linebackers,
Okay.
Chris
I
Jones.
was praising William Gay. Jerry knows I was praising Nick Bolton coming out of college. I
They're
love
really
William
good.
Gay. I love what forget about it. Those guys up front, guys like Donna, they don't get credit. Everybody wants to talk about Chris Jones. Look at these other guys. Okay?
They're great. They're
Those
great on
guys-
defense. And Mahomes steals the show and Kelsey. But that
Yeah.
defense is top 5 in the game.
Yeah, they are stacked. And they are, look, we want to talk about, they already won a game for them against Jacksonville, Lawrence, when they won 17-9
Oh,
down
yeah.
in Jacksonville. Okay. They won a game for them. These guys, to have them compliment the best quarterback in the league by far in that offense, it's sick. It's sick.
Yep.
It's sick. It's gonna be tough to beat these guys again, man. It really is.
So we all like the Chiefs.
Oh,
I like the Jets. No, again.
All right, Chris, who do you got Monday night, bud?
Well, I hate to say it.
Wow.
I hate to say it, because the Giants just haven't shown, Jerry and Lawrence, enough for me against this real good Seattle offense that they're gonna score enough points to beat these guys. And I have Seattle like in a 27-23 game, man.
It's funny. I have it the other way, 27-24. Just I think it's gonna be a very frustrating game, but I just wanted to get my score out. So it sounded like I was saying the same thing you were, but I said 27-24, like last second, that's, but it's gonna be a very frustrating game. And I admit my pick is more on hope, but it's gonna be very close.
So it's not frustrating. You got the win.
Well, it'll be frustrating for 3 hours until that last minute, and then then they'll win. But it might be ugly as hell for a while. But
okay.
Lawrence, we do these picks every week, and for 3 years, Chris has beat the crap out of me every year. But I just wanted to say, last week we had 4 differences, and I got all 4. It's never happened. And if I didn't say it now, I was never going to be able to say it, Chris. So I'm up 3 on the season. I may just follow Chris's picks the rest of the year so I can win.
That way.
I don't think I've been ahead 1 week. So just wanted to throw
Lawrence, you know, teams got to feel their way about the first few weeks of the season. That's what I do.
Yeah.
I feel my way about with these teams, and then I start striking, Lawrence. That's
beats
what
the
I
shit
do.
out of
Okay.
me the rest of the year. Yeah. So,
No, it's good.
but dude, listen, man, thank you.
Lawrence,
for
love
being
you, my
so
man. You know that.
generous
Yeah.
with your time.
Yep. Love you guys. Appreciate you having me. You guys do a great job. So we'll see what they can do. Run the damn ball.
We should end with that. All right, guys. Sundays are Giant days. Take care, everybody.
Lawrence, thank you, my man. Talk soon, brother.
You bet, guys. See you.